There are days that I feel so alone in this chamber as the only Palestinian-American serving in Congress. The dehumanization and the anti-Palestinian racism here is painful, especially when my colleagues remain silent on the starvation of children and vote to send more bombs to the Israeli government while they commit war crimes with impunity. I pray that the ongoing Nakba against the Palestinians will end. And one day they will be free.
Representative Rashida Tlaib, the first Palestinian-American woman to serve in Congress, broke down in tears on the House floor on Thursday as she talked about the plight of Palestinians in Gaza. She called out Netanyahu and her fellow Congress members for refusing to put an end to the genocide. Take a look.
Israeli forces have killed more than 52,000 Palestinians, and nearly 70% of them were women and children. Babies who did not live to see their first birthday. There are thousands more who are dismembered, unrecognizable, burned alive, buried beneath the rubble, and presumed dead. Each year, our country sends billions of dollars to maintain this apartheid state and support the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. Our country is complicit, Mr. Speaker, because our nation is funding this genocide. The Israeli government will not stop until we place an arms embargo. Majority of Americans support it. We must save lives, no matter faith or ethnicity. A child is a child.
Despite her pleas and the wishes of most Americans, we will continue to aid Israel. And Donald Trump is now once again signaling that the US is going to participate in ethnically cleansing Palestinians. But before we get to that, Cenk.
Yeah, it's a huge caveat there. There's actually 3 different options for what they could do with Gaza. One's a disaster, one is fantastic, and then the third one is frustrating and will not get to the right result. I'm afraid they're gonna do the third one. But after Jordan gives you all the details here, and oh my God, the genocide here is unreal now. 72 days of starvation. Is the world gonna do anything? It's the cruelty of this current Israeli government is unbearable. And so those 3 options are going to determine everything. And which way does Trump go? And Trump's gonna decide this thing, not Netanyahu, Trump is. And he's a giant wild card. So let's tell you about the current state of the disaster in Gaza, and it's as bad as it has ever been. And then let's talk about, is it gonna get better or worse? And like I said, don't lose hope, because there is one alternative where this thing turns positive in a totally unexpected way.
Now, Donald Trump's messaging on what his intentions are for Gaza have been all over the place. But during a meeting with Netanyahu in April, he said this.
Having a peace force like the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing. Because right now, all it is for years and years, all I hear about is killing and Hamas and problems. And if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, and you really have a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free zone, a zone where people aren't going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place. It's you know what I call it, a great location that nobody wants to live in.
And yesterday he doubled down. During a meeting with business leaders in Qatar, he told the press, Gaza has been a territory of death and destruction for many years. I have concepts for Gaza, and I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone. I'd be proud to have the United States have it, take it, make it a freedom zone. He described aerial images he's seen of the widespread destruction from Israeli airstrikes on Gaza and said, there's practically no building standing. It's not like you're trying to save something. His comments come as the death toll surpasses 53,000, and that is just an estimate. And the Israeli military is intensifying operations across Gaza. They killed more than 100 people just today and are pledging to continue the bombings. And now Netanyahu is just outright saying that his goal is to drive the Palestinians out. He said this earlier this week. We are destroying more and more homes. they have nowhere to return to. The only inevitable outcome will be the desire of Gazans to emigrate outside of the Gaza Strip. Cenk, you hear Netanyahu's intent, just completely destroy it, drive everyone out. I don't know how I could look at Trump's, freedom zone proposal and find any room for encouragement. So what are we missing here?
Yeah. First of all, let me discourage you further, and then I'll get to the encouragement. Okay. So option number one is we do what Israel orders us to do, which is Americans go in there and push the Palestinians out. That's the original Netanyahu plan. So God forbid an Israeli should get hurt doing the ethnic cleansing. And he was trying to, he's like, hey, Miriam gave you all this money, over $300 million. Now you pay us back by Americans dying and being guilty of the genocide and the ethnic cleansing. And then the two places that they would push them to is either the ruins of Rafah or completely out of Gaza into other countries. Now, if you think that that's hyperbole, they're not really gonna, that's literally the textbook definition of ethnic cleansing. Yeah, so let me share with you reporting from Dropsite News, Jeremy Scahill reporting here, that shows you that is definitively what they're planning to do. And in fact, they actually say it and brag about it. And then I'll get you to the two other options. Okay, Scahill reports Hamas will lay down its weapons, its leaders, this is a Netanyahu statement to his cabinet. Hamas will lay down its weapons, its leaders will be allowed to leave. We will see to the general security in the Gaza Strip and will allow the realization of the Trump plan for voluntary migration, he told his cabinet, referring to Trump's threat to seize Gaza and remove Palestinians from their land. And he said, quote, "This is the plan, we are not hiding this." So they first say, look, we want the hostages back, wink. Our own envoy, Steve Witkoff, said, no, they don't want the hostages back. Israel is delaying peace. They're the ones who want to continue the war, okay? So he says, yeah, well, we want hostages back, but that's not good enough. We also want everyone in Hamas, who we don't know who they are, to come out somehow and surrender, and presumably they'll be either sent to prison or executed. And so they're going to all voluntarily do that. And then Israel's going to say, okay, we are satisfied enough that all of Hamas has come out and said this, and Palestine will never be allowed to exist as a state, and we will occupy Gaza. So if Hamas agrees to all of that, then we can get to a peace deal. Who would agree to a permanent occupation and give away their land? By definition, that is not at all possible, because that's just saying, okay, we'll give you 100% on what you want, and because we're what? Otherwise, and you know what? Netanyahu is saying, otherwise we'll kill you all or just drive you out militarily anyway. And he says, this is the plan, we're not hiding this. But if you're not convinced, hold on, there's a lot more. Scahill says, on May 4th, the Israeli cabinet approved a plan code-named Operation Gideon's Chariot that it threatened to implement if Hamas did not capitulate to Israel's demands by the time Trump finished his tour of the Gulf. Its explicit aim would be, quote, the conquest of the Gaza Strip, an open-ended occupation enforced by, quote, wide-scale attacks and the destruction of Gaza's remaining infrastructure. Palestinians would be herded into the wasteland of what was once Rafah in southern Gaza. So they're saying, if you don't agree to everything Israel wants, including your own subjugation and the theft of your own land, we're going to drive you into the ruins of Rafah and ethnically cleanse the rest of Gaza Strip and take it. And it is a conquest. So we told you that that was their intention. And when we said that, what did people say? Anti-Semite! How dare you talk about Israel potentially taking Gaza Strip? They're the most moral army in the world. They would never do that. This is only because of self-defense from an attack from years and years ago. And so we had to murder 53,000 civilians. Sorry, there's a couple of Hamas in there. They've never proven that anyone outside of Hamas leadership was ever killed. But okay, let's assume there's some Hamas in there. But the overwhelming majority is civilians. 2/3 are women and children. Approximately 18,000 children killed by the IDF, pretending this is about self-defense. I wouldn't kill one child, let alone 18,000 children, for self-defense, I'd say, you know what, kill me instead. If the choice is between me and 18,000 children, really, that's a hard choice for me? I guess it is. I guess for a lot of people who have no morality at all, none whatsoever, they go, who cares? It's just Palestinian children. Just keep murdering them. We'll just blame it on Hamas. Okay, so they're not done with their confessions. So if you're an Israeli supporter, I'm expecting an apology. I told you they were going to try to take Gaza, and you pretended that they weren't. Not pretended. To be fair, a lot of Israeli supporters, they genuinely believe it. They really believe it. And even as they see with their own eyes, and they hear with their own ears that Netanyahu is saying, yeah, it's a goddamn conquest. Of course we're going to take the land. They're like, no, it can't be. It can't be. Israel's the most moral nation that's ever been created. So it can't be that my eyes must be lying to me. Oh, it's all Hamas numbers. It's all Hamas. It's all human shields. It's all propaganda. What's the next propaganda line I have? No, they're taking the goddamn land. We were right. Every supporter of Israel that pretended that, again, sorry, not pretended, that genuinely believed that they weren't, you were wrong. So are you ever going to say it? No, no. Israel's the one country that can never be criticized. Jesus, man. All right, they continue. Here's Netanyahu. Quote, there will be no situation where we stop the war. I don't know how it could be clearer than that. He says the situation has changed. In the coming days, we will go in with full force to complete the operation. Completing the operation means subduing Hamas. It means destroying Hamas. When he says subduing and destroying Hamas, he explained earlier that means the conquest of Gaza, that means the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and that means Israel declaring Gaza their own after they drive the Palestinians out. This is a sick terrorist running a nation, and we're funding him endlessly, blank check after blank check. Mr. Terrorist, what would you like? Oh, you're going to murder more children. Oh, you're going to do genocide and ethnic cleansing. Oh, yes, right away, sir. Biden, yes. Kamala Harris, yes. Donald Trump, yes. So far, but hold. Okay, last quote here from Scahill at Dropside News. Netanyahu added that Israel had set up a mechanism to coordinate the removal of Palestinians from Gaza, saying, quote, the main issue is this. We need host countries willing to absorb them. That's what we're working on right now. So in other words, we're going to drive them all out of Gaza, and we're going to push them either into the Sinai Desert or whichever other Arab country is willing to take them. And we're just going to steal all of their land in Gaza. And yes, it is stealing. It is definitely stealing the land. And who cares? Yeah, kill them, drive them out, ethnically cleanse them. This is genocide 101. So now, Rashida Tlaib, before, if she had said genocide, apartheid, ethnic cleansing, she would have been sanctioned. They would have said, oh, that is terrible anti-Semitism. You're not allowed to say things that are true about Israel. Sanctioned, right? But she wasn't sanctioned. That's interesting. Why? Well, a couple of things have happened. Number one, now the genocide is utterly indisputable. If you're disputing that it's a genocide, okay, I mean, you could dispute that the sky is blue and the grass is green, but you sound like a lunatic. I mean, if this isn't a genocide, what the hell is? They're declaring it. They're like saying, yeah, we will drive them all out and we'll kill as many as we need to take their land. How much clearer does it have to be? Okay, so one is that it's indisputable, it doesn't matter. Congress totally, it works for Israel anyway. They can dispute the indisputable. But one of the reasons she's not being sanctioned is because the right wing is starting to swing. And the Tucker Carlson and so many others, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she came on the show and said, we shouldn't give any more money to Israel. I'm not sure I've ever heard a Republican politician in my lifetime say that. Tom Massey, I suppose, probably said that. But outside of that, I mean, they worked 100% for the state of Israel, not for us. So now all of a sudden, their media is changing. Some of their politicians are changing. So all of a sudden she's not sanctioned. Israel's beginning to lose some power. So that brings us to option number two. Trump went and talked to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. That was just what this tour was about. But he left Israel out, which is already stunning. Usually you go to Israel, you kiss the ring of Netanyahu or whoever's the Israeli prime minister, And then you go, oh, Israel's the greatest thing that's ever been created. Then you go to the Arab countries and you give a generally insulting speech publicly, and then you do some begrudging deal with them, okay? But at the end of the day, you're gonna do a deal because they got a lot of money, okay? But Trump has totally flipped that. So he doesn't go to Israel, he goes to the Arab countries, then he goes and starts taking money from them, right? And so, number one, he's got the $400 million jet from Qatar. That's going to be Air Force One. Number two, he's got several billion-dollar deals he's doing with Qatar and some of the other countries, including Saudi Arabia. So he's just personally benefiting. So he's like, you know, Trump. He's like, wait, I want to be known for peace, and these guys are giving me billions of dollars. Where's the question? But wait, the Adelsons gave you over 300 million. He's like, yeah, that was yesterday. And if you don't know that I stiff investors, you're a bit of an idiot. So that's why Netanyahu, when Trump won, he came in like, I own you, right? And then all of a sudden, Trump starts defying him. He's like, wait, what happened? What happened? I thought we purchased you. That was yesterday, brother. Trump never, ever cares about his investors. He always screws them. So now he's like, the Arabs are offering me more money. I guess that's a sad day for you. So now when he brought our freedom zone, Jordan, within the context of those speeches and the context of those deals, and by the way, the other thing is he got a $142 billion arms deal with the Saudis. So I don't know that we should be giving the Saudis and these dictatorships in the Gulf all of these weapons, but we are. And our defense contractors are going to make a killing from it. And by the way, Jordan, that's another huge part of the puzzle. It's not just Trump. Part of the reason why we support Israel so much is, they had the conspiracy theories about, the Jews run everything. No. There's also a huge Christian Zionist voting bloc, but even more important is the military-industrial complex. So they're like, America's going to pass all these bills that give $20 billion to Israel, but really it's so that Israel can buy our weapons. So it's going to the defense contractors, then Israel is getting those weapons, right? So Israel's super happy, the defense contractors are super happy, and they don't want that gravy train to end. But now Trump comes in and goes, I got a better gravy train. We're gonna arm the Arabs to the teeth. Okay, you guys are gonna make a killing. Before you're making tens of billions, now you're gonna make hundreds of billions. All of a sudden, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, et cetera, like, you know what, Israel's kind of optional. All of a sudden, Israel's optional, right? And so when he talked about freedom zone in that context, there's this, the second plan is the US goes in, but we go in with Arab countries. And the Arab countries then run it so that Hamas doesn't and the Palestinian Authority doesn't. And that leads to an independent Palestinian state. Oh, that would be amazing. And there's no reason not to do that. None. And by the way, if he does that, they'll build statues of him all over the Middle East. And overnight, the entire Middle East will turn into our allies. And he'll win the Nobel Peace Prize. Those are, I'm not kidding and I'm not exaggerating. If he created it, got actual peace in the Middle East and created an independent Palestinian state, guaranteed Nobel Peace Prize. Where's the downside? The Israeli lobby won't give you money anymore. He's not gonna run anyway. There's no downside at all. Okay, the third option, unfortunately, sounds halfway okay, but is disastrous. Third option is they say there's a peace deal, you get the hostages back, that's good. Israel doesn't occupy, the US occupies, bad. And eventually there's loose talk of a Palestinian state at an undetermined time, and whether they'll ever actually have sovereignty in their own military is left to the future. In which case, Netanyahu is going to find 8,000 ways to destroy that deal. It'll never happen. They'll just wait Trump out, and the next establishment politician will do whatever Israel commands. So it's got to be option number two. Jordan, the fact that option two now exists is amazing. It's never happened in my lifetime before, and potentially an upside of Donald Trump's corruption. Okay, what do you think?
Oh no, I have zero hope that Trump would be involved in any legitimate peace plan. I think we've seen enough from him to know that that is all a farce. This idea that Donald Trump is some diplomat and peacenik has shown time and time again to be untrue. And what we're going to see here is what we saw telegraphed by Netanyahu and the Israeli government for a year and a half. They are going to destroy all of it. And the time to get in the way, the time to stop it was when Biden was in office. And that's why so many people spoke up and so many people were frustrated. You of course were critical of him throughout. And while this may now, as the culmination of this operation may happen under Trump's watch, the people who are ultimately responsible are Antony Blinken, Joe Biden, all the spokespeople who pretended like they were having serious, tough conversations with Netanyahu and the Israelis about reining in their operation or being mindful of civilians. That was always a lie. They were never legitimately behind the scenes pushing for a ceasefire. And if you mentioned Israeli supporters who pretended like this wasn't a genocide or ethnic cleansing for the first year. I mean, you have to be either stupid or deliberately unwilling to recognize what was happening to have that position. And there are people who spent the first year splitting hairs over the definition of a genocide or the definition of ethnic cleansing. And here you are. What do you have for that? All those people who tried to obfuscate and distract during these conversations, during these debates, during these arguments on behalf of the Israeli government, what do you have to show for it? And you've heard this phrase before. There's a book out now by a Palestinian author about it. One day everyone's going to pretend like they were against this. One day everyone will always have been against this. And when we are presented with situations like this, and Yemen is another example, you have to think about what your role in that is. Is it waiting and seeing until things are bad enough and then you can give it the label of a genocide or ethnic cleansing? Or is it fighting against it from day one? And I think many of us, thankfully, and I know many people watching, were opposed day one, week one to this escalation from the Israeli government. And what they're talking about in some of these plans, the comment in Jeremy Scahill's article, Palestinians would be herded into the wasteland of what was once Rafah in southern Gaza. Rafah was the safe haven a year ago. That's where people were told to go to escape is Israel's bombing and Israel's attacks. And now it is completely destroyed. Same thing with Khan Yunis, same thing with Gaza City. Across the board in Gaza, they were continually told to relocate as Israel then demolished more and more of Gaza. After the first or second refugee camp or hospital was attacked, how could you not see what the ultimate plan was? And unfortunately, there are many people, and some even tried to make this case on this network, that no, that Israel doesn't bomb refugee camps. Israel doesn't bomb hospitals. It's always Hamas. This was a misfire by Hamas. Look around you. Look at the footage and genuinely try to make that case. You are either a liar or you are obtuse. And they're not mutually exclusive. There are many people who still try to make the case that Israel is, like you're saying, the most moral army in the world. The blood on their hands, and ultimately Trump's and Biden's and Blinken's and now Rubio's, untold. We can never have those lives back. It is absolutely disgusting. But on this plan, it's just going to be what Netanyahu wants. No one is brave enough at the top levels of the US government to stand up to him, and he's going to do whatever he wants.
Okay, I've got to comment on a bunch of that stuff. You're 100% right that in hindsight, people always, I was always against it. I never liked Netanyahu. Blah, 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 blah. There'll be 1,000 excuses, 1,000. Yes, but did you do anything? Did you say that Israel was wrong and that we should have a two-state solution and that we should have a ceasefire and that the Palestinians should be protected? Or did you use talking points about human shields and how they had it coming and the Palestinians can't ever be trusted? They're not like normal human beings. No, if we give them a state, those savages will immediately attack us. No Israeli supporter is ever allowed to use the word savage again. So because what's happened in Gaza is the definition of savagery, okay? So, okay, that's clear. Number two, the comment about the hospital is so right. Anna said it yesterday too. Remember when we had the debate? And you said, somebody on the network said, that's right, and I'm proud of that. Why am I proud of that? Because we had the conversations, we had the debates, and you all saw it with your own eyes. We didn't shut anything down. We allowed everybody to stay their peace, and what happened? The truth won out. We were right. So And now it's not in question because the debate originally was, oh, this is the thing that Anna mentioned, you mentioned. Oh, remember with that hospital got hit in the beginning and they're like, no way it was Israel. Israel would never hit a hospital. No, everybody has to retract the story. Israel's the most moral country in the history of the world, and they would never ever, and if you say they would ever hit a hospital, anti-Semite, right? What happened? They destroyed all of the hospitals in Gaza. They leveled 2 of them yesterday. So now we're past 53,000 dead. They've taken 2/3 of Gaza already. So where's the, okay, they would never hit any hospital. They hit every hospital and every university and every school. They destroyed them all. So can I get a confession from the supporters of Israel? You were wrong. Israel, this current government is a bunch of savages and they destroyed civilization in Gaza. I mean, if Hamas had done this to Israel, can you imagine if Hamas had done this to Israel? But apparently Israel is allowed to be monsters and say, no, I can do it to Palestinians. Their lives don't matter. I'm gonna keep going. So the one thing I disagree with you, Jordan, on, you said they have to be either stupid or liars. No, you'd be shocked at what bias does to you. Look, I can tell you from my ethnicity, you go talk to perfectly rational Turks, perfectly progressive Turks, and you ask them about Kurds, boom, gone. Bias comes in, their eyes glaze over. No, the Kurds are bad, Turks are the greatest, Turks are the most moral people on the earth, blah, 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 blah. No, bias will blind you to anything, when it comes to these kind of issues. But I am curious, now that Netanyahu is launching this conquest imminently, and he's saying, yes, this is our plan. We are going to take the Palestinian land. We are going to continue to murder them, and we are going to drive them out. Are you still going to hide behind excuses? Are you still going to be biased and go, yeah, no, as long as Israel's the one doing the ethnic cleansing, then I'm okay with it, because excuse number 1, 2, and 3, and every excuse has to do with how Palestinians are savages and violent and can't be trusted and have to be murdered because they're the violent ones, right? And then finally, this, Jordan, this idea like, oh, don't trust Trump, he'll never ever do the right thing because he doesn't have good intent and he's not actually a peace thing. Of course, it isn't about good intent and like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think maybe Donald Trump's heart opened up. No, the only reason he might do it is because of corruption and ego. If he thought they're gonna build statues of him all over the world and he was gonna get a Nobel Peace Prize and he was gonna get to take home a couple of $1 billion, that's why he would do it. It's not complicated and Trump's not a complicated guy. Nevertheless, it is way less likely because still Israel has an enormous amount of power in this country and they are now exercising it in 8,000 different ways. And so that's why on the Qatar jet, oh my God, every ally of Israel is, and again, the jet's wrong, right? But every ally of Israel is out all over media. Every politician, including Republicans, all of a sudden finding a way to oppose Trump, right? Etc. And going, no, Qatar's a bunch of terrorist Muslim savages. We have our biggest base in the Middle East in Qatar. If they're such terrorists, why are we working with them? Why are we putting our troops in danger? No, Israel's interests are affected. No, terrorist, anti-Semite. Okay, yeah, try that, go ahead. But you know what's happening? The MAGA base is going, you call me anti-Semite one more goddamn time. I dare you call me anti-Semite one more time, okay? They're had it up to here. So I know I'm out on a limb. I said it at the very beginning of the Trump administration. It's not even a majority likelihood, but is there for the first time a chance, a non-zero chance that they'll get to the right answer because of all the forces that I just explained, the corruption, the ego, etc.? Yes, there is. Yes, there definitely is. There is a possibility. And if you're not open to that possibility, you're making a giant mistake. Jordan, last thing, I know we're so over here, but you have to encourage that possibility. You have to tell Trump, oh my God, you'll be a hero. But by the way, he would be in that case. Oh, but if you say, nope, I'm just gonna be super pessimistic and I'm gonna yell at him no matter what he does, even if he does the right thing. And you know what? And because if he does the right thing and frees the Palestinians, no, he's still doing other things wrong. Since he's doing other things wrong, I'll never give him credit, even though this would be a historic act. I think that's a massive mistake. So, do you see that encouraging him to do the right thing, especially encouraging the right wing to push him to do the right thing, might be the right strategy?
I don't have faith in them doing that. Like you just laid out. All of the opposition to this plane is rooted in Islamophobia. Much of it, to be fair. Why would they suddenly take a different tact here? I think what we have seen, especially from the right on foreign policy, going back to the Gulf days, if you want to be accurate, but largely from the war on terror on, it is a jingoistic foreign policy, and that's going to extend to Palestinians as well. So I just am not holding my breath. I mean, sure, I guess I'll encourage you, do the right thing, but like, I feel like it's falling on deaf ears.
But
they've shown
Jordan,
what
how
they
can you say
want.
it's falling on deaf ears? Joe Rogan's talking about it. Like, I'm not just talking about Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and the far right. Rogan, Theo Vaughn, endlessly.
Like Tucker Carlson is a straight up anti-Semite. The reason he's taking that position is because he's an anti-Semite. He is a white nationalist.
Like,
that's why he's doing
Jordan,
it.
I'm being serious. Hold on. If he's an anti-Semite and that's our speculation, okay, that's terrible, and I'm going to deal with that later. But are you trying to discourage him from?
I'm not trying to discourage him. I'm not saying he's going to be an effective messenger to persuade Trump.
Of course he is. Who would be an effective messenger?
How?
A Democrat? That doesn't make any sense, Jordan.
Not.
Of course, Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene are much more likely to persuade Donald Trump than we are. Isn't that the most obvious thing in the world?
No, I'm not saying any of us are going to. He's going to listen to the most powerful in the world. He's going to listen to the military-industrial complex. That is who will reign supreme here. And if Israel wants weapons and they want to continue that cash flow, they're going to have more influence than podcaster Tucker Carlson. It boils down to money. The only reason he's saying that is because he is a white nationalist. You look at his comments on people in the Middle East going back to the 2000s. He sees them as subhuman. Like there are many comments that he made on that shock jock show.
Jordan, let me. No. I'm really mad about this. Hold on.
Why would I lift him up? There are plenty.
No. Stop with that nonsense, Jordan. Hold on. Listen.
How is it nonsense?
Okay, here's why. Because you are the people who are saying that, yes, including you. You're being intensely selfish. Let me explain. So Tucker Carlson said we shouldn't go into Iraq after he originally was in favor of it, but after the war started, he said, we shouldn't be there, and I don't want to deal with these monkeys. Now he's talking about Muslims, that's my people, okay? So am I in favor of that? No, absolutely not. So I could choose to do one of two things. If we were back in that time, I could either encourage the Tucker Carlson wing of the party to get out of Iraq, which would have saved hundreds of thousands of lives, or I could say, I am morally pure. He was Islamophobic. I banish him and I cancel him. And it's better that I cancel him because of my feelings than we save hundreds of thousands of lives in Iraq. That's intensely selfish. Let it go. Yeah, okay, I don't know what his intentions are, and I don't give a goddamn what his intentions are. You've got to get the right wing. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, Jordan. I'm not saying, I'm not naive. It's not like I don't know. I've been railing against the power of the Israeli lobby and the military-industrial complex. But if we just go, oh, nope, I don't want any allies. I don't want allies from the people who are in charge now. How could you not see that that's maniacal and intensely selfish?
Because they're not our allies. When have they ever shown to be an ally?
Right now. They're saying.
No, they're not. They haven't done anything.
Jordan, what the hell do you want him to do? Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I don't want to give any more money.
Because he says one thing, you're like, oh, let's listen to him. He hasn't done anything.
Jordan, I'm not saying go vote for Trump. I'm not saying go support Trump. I'm saying push Trump to do the right thing.
The guy
but you say no. You say no. You say no. You're letting the Palestinians die because of your selfishness. It drives me crazy.
Cenk, I have an award for running a ceasefire website that millions of people around the world have used. You're calling me selfish?
Yes, I am. Jordan, you've done.
Because I don't inherently believe one thing that Trump said on camera.
No, it's not about believing, Jordan. It's not about believing. So first of all, Jordan, you have been freaking amazing on this issue. You've been one of the best people in the country on this issue, and I love you for it, okay? But I'm not asking you to be naive and go, oh, I just trust Trump on everything now. I'm asking you to be political and strategic and your normal, incredibly smart self and go, when the right wing comes to our side, we're not going to their side. When they come to our side, whether it's Tucker Carlson or goddamn it, Joe Rogan, when they're all coming to our side, don't tell them, I don't want you. You're an anti-Semite, you're a white nationalist. I don't want you, and I don't believe you. Take yes for an answer. For God's sake, for the Palestinians' sake, Jordan, you've been amazing on this. Please take yes for an answer.
When he does something.
No, we gotta push him to do it, Jordan. By the time he decides to do it or not do it, it's too late. If you just sit back and go, oh, I'm not gonna help the right who wants to stop the funding to Israel, the right who wants to stop the ceasefire, etc. I don't believe them, they're all racist. I don't believe them, I'm not gonna help them. Okay, oh, oops, they didn't have enough power because they had no allies on our side, they had no allies anywhere else. And so we gave up, we sat on our hands, and we were losers and we were pessimistic and we gave up on the Palestinian people. We just gave up on them because calling Tucker Carlson an anti-Semite was more important to us than saving Palestinian lives. That's my opinion, I can't stand it. I think you're dead wrong on it. I love you, you've been wonderful on this issue, but no, when the other side comes to us, on a super important issue where lives are on the line, I don't care about what their past is. And oh, they said the wrong word once. Oh, what do they think about trans people? Are you kidding me? Let's go save some lives. Let's save some lives. We're not in charge. We're not in charge, they're in charge. And when they say, yes, we agree with the left, yes, we agree with Palestinians, the correct answer definitively, inarguably, is yes. Thank you for coming to our side. We will take yes for an answer. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.